it's good. I often go for a ride or a run, and I'll meet Sarah here, take a plunge in the creek, and finish up with a salad or a coffee. It's a good place to be. Got a double macchiato and a scone heated up.
All right.
It's great.
So we're here at Stone Cup with Chris. Stone Cup is a local coffee joint here in Lyons. And Chris, tell us a little bit about Try Dubai. The concept was brought about last year. Let's start from last year, how it came about and how it's evolved this year.
Yeah, it was Franco who pretty much thought of the whole concept. Brought me in for a meeting, and we chatted about having more of a professional triathlon team, like in cycling. And Tim had a lot of involvement too, so that's one of the main reasons I came out to Lyons. Is I sat down actually apart from Franco and talked to Tim about the concept. And last year was, I think, a huge step in that it was a successful team, generated a lot of exposure, but then still there was a few question marks out there as to what the team was all about. To me, it was important to have a sponsor come into the sport and spend that sort of money, and it was frustrating in the sense that people were critical here in the US about it being a sponsor from the Middle East. And if we had more sponsors like that, I think the sport would just take off. So.
Is it mostly people are critical? Is it other athletes? Is it people within the board of directors within the sport here in the U.S.?
I think it was at all levels.
From athletes?
Yeah, I think the athletes, a lot of people really appreciated the fact that we had a big sponsor on board, and but then a lot of people didn't comprehend what it was all about. What we were selling a product. It was Dubai, the city. And people just couldn't get their heads around the fact that all it was is brand awareness. And if you look now, step back 18 months ago, and who had heard of Dubai? Most Americans couldn't even pronounce the word. Now we have a whole industry, a whole sport that knows the city of Dubai. Now, as I said, step back 18 months ago, that was an unknown, and I think we succeeded in that element. And I think it's important if we can now generate media exposure outside of the sport. Then we'd probably really be hitting the targets.
How have the goals of Try Dubai, the business side of Try Dubai, progressed this year? What are the expectations of you guys as athletes, and how are you guys expanding your programs with the charities and with expectations as performance oriented and camps?
We haven't got a camp at this stage. The charities have continued, and the fact that Cam Brown has raced well, Lisa Bentley, I had a good race in Wildflower. We've still been able to donate a lot of money, which is a real positive. It's not like we're competing in golf where we've got millions and millions at our disposal. So that's one of the real positives, is that as triathletes we get to have that benefit of passing on. But the goals have changed a little. I think the fact there was a little bit of friction, we've had to really sort of dig our heels in and show that it is a positive concept. Racing in racing terms, I think they spread the athletes across a lot more races, and we try to, I guess, reduce the sort of head-to-head racing. I think it comes down to exposure and trying to win as many races as possible. So.
What about expanding the team across the different disciplines of triathlon? Have you guys looked into that, or is it still kind of solely an Ironman 70.3?
It's changing a little, yeah. Definitely last year it was all about Ironman racing. The fact that we all dabble in half Ironman, Olympic distance, in terms of the team taking on Craig Alexander. That was specifically to step in on the Lifetime, on Chicago, LA. He does race half Ironmans as well. The fact I've moved away from from Ironman, and I'll be concentrating on Xterra and 70.3. I guess the emphasis has changed a little, and there was talk about having Conrad on the team. I think he would have been a great ambassador for the team in Xterra, and I think now that it was successful, I think we can sort of step in and get a wider circle of athletes. And
now, Try Dubai had a 2-year contract with the Sheikh of Dubai. Is that going to be renewed at the end of the year? What kind of word do you have as far as continuing this program and this team?
I think there's a chance. There was a couple of months ago. There's a little bit of doubt there, which wasn't great. But the fact that we've had such great success recently with results. I mean, I think it goes beyond results. The whole reputation of what we're trying to achieve out here, and it's heading in a positive direction. So, as you said, it was a 2-year commitment, and Human Interest Group, who runs the team, I guess at the end of the day has the option of selling the whole concept. So we still have to be successful as an entity and just keep achieving what we are. And Cam Brown winning on the weekend. I think this weekend we had 4 wins. We've only got 9 athletes on the team, so I think the rest of the athletes weren't racing. So if we keep on that track, then I think we've definitely got something to sell.
Is the charity aspect going well? Are you guys getting good?
I think
good results with the charity programs.
We are. It's sometimes it's. People within the industry think it's a waste of money at times. It's a real positive for what we're able to achieve. Even myself, I was able to donate $5,000 to the Brain Foundation in Australia. That to me is a huge benefit. And whenever we get feedback from external sources, it's one of the real positives. And Dubai looks at that as one of the major aspects of the whole concept. And it's a win-win situation.
The question a lot of people have is, will we ever see a race in Dubai?
I've got my fingers crossed. When we've come so close at times to having, half Ironman races and the concept of an Ironman race there. Now, I think that'd be quite a hot race, but I think if they were to put on an event over there, it's going to be one of the best in the world. So it's strange coming from Europe and coming from Australia. Dubai is a flavour of the month. It's a destination. It's a tourist destination. It's one of the economic centres of the world, and it's really hard for Americans to grasp that concept, but it is one of the focal points in the world at the moment. And it's a long trip from here to get to a race, but I think if a race was to be held, then it'd be one of the biggest in the world.
Do you guys still travel? You've been over to Dubai yourself?
Yeah.
Have you been over multiple times?
No, I've only been once, and I was definitely hoping we'd get across again this year, and that was, one of the concepts is to go over and hold training clinics over there, and I loved going across there. It's one of the positives of the sport is travelling, and to get to see a place like Dubai, it would have changed in the last 12 months. So I'm, as I said, got my fingers crossed that I can get back there again in this on this team.